We're now live. Yay.
Yay. Okay, I'm gonna play the video.
Yes, you can play it now.
In a true binational Latino Book and Family Festival. Welcome to our beautiful campus and welcome to this spectacular event.
So many things that we can accomplish to enrich our country. And this Latino Book Festival is an example.
A good book gives life to our heart and soul, gives meaning to our guts.
Write about inspiring people. Write something good, put myself in the shoes of people that I'm interviewing.
So many things that we can accomplish.
What's your favorite book? I don't know. There's too many good ones.
Hey, welcome. Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming to the Latino Book and Family Festival that we are hosting virtually this year. I'm so excited that you are able to join us today. I will be your MC for today's event. My name is Alina Gonzalez. A little bit about myself is that I published my first book when I was 17. I attended my undergrad and received a bachelor's in film studies and production from Hofstra University in New York. And I just received my master's in teaching from USC this past spring. Estamos muy emocionados que están con nosotros hoy. Yo seré su maestro de ceremonias. Mi nombre es Alina González. Yo publiqué mi primer libro a 17 años, asistí a la universidad en Nueva York y recibí mi maestra este año en la Universidad de USC. So I want to remind everyone that if you have any questions during this presentation, please feel free to write them in the chat. So we are doing this two ways today. We have this through our website and we are also live on Facebook. So if you are joining us on Facebook, go ahead and drop a hello and where you're from, and I will be doing some shout outs during today's event. So quiero recordar a todos que si durante la presentación tengan preguntas, por favor escríbelas en el cuadro de conversación, chat box, y nuestro equipo les responderá. So we do have some people that are on the ready to respond through our website and through our Facebook Live. So at this moment, I'd like to introduce Bea Palmer, who will be presenting our presenter for today's workshop. Ahorita les presentamos a Bea Palmer, quien va a presentar el taller de hoy.
Hola, gracias Alina. Thank you, Alina. Buenos días. Good morning. Creo que todavía son buenos días. Son las 11. It's 11 a.m. And we are just so thankful that you're here today. Estamos muy agradecidos que nos acompañan desde sus hogares o donde quiera que estén para ver este festival. Y hoy tenemos una sorpresa para ustedes. Tenemos a la autora Carla Cordero. We are so excited that you're joining us from your homes, from your bed maybe, wherever you are. We are excited. We have a treasure, a gem to share with you today. Our very own local Carla Cordero. She is a descendant of the Chichimeca people of Northern Mexico. born and raised en Calexico. A ver, para todos los de Calexico, espero que estén aquí hoy. Y si no, si conocen a alguien de Calexico, compartan esto con ellos después. She is a Macondo, Canto Mundo Bona, Pink Door, Retreat and Community of Writers Fellow, a recipient of the Loft Spoken Word Immersion Fellowship at the Loft Literary Center, and the San Diego State University Global Diversity Award. Carla is the editor of our, the local, or actually maybe national Spit Journal. I hope Carla tells us a little bit about that. An online literary review for poetry and the social justice, and CFO for the nonprofit Glassless Minds aquí in Oceanside. An open mic in Oceanside that serves the community's historically underserved youth. Carla's newest full-length collection titled How to Pull Apart the Earth is the 2019 San Diego Book Award winner and award-winning finalist of the 2019 International Book Awards. And she is also one of our finalists, so I hope you join us for that ceremony. Carla currently serves as a professor of English and creative writing at our very own Miracosta Community College and San Diego City College. Carla, bienvenida.
Thank you. Thank you, B. And thank you so much to the festival in continuing the tradition of building community and making it happen virtually. What's good, mi gente? My name is Carla Cordero. My pronouns are she, her, hers. And I am beyond excited to be here today, virtually coming to you live from my garage. And thank you for showing up on a Saturday to invest a little bit of time out of your day to talk about the importance of storytelling. More importantly, how those stories resurrect from the body and the blood itself. So before we jump into the workshop and get y'all moving and writing, B, did you need to cover anything else?
Yeah, I do. You know, Carla, I'd like the audience and our community to learn a little bit about why you ventured in and started to write. What inspired you to write? What inspired to be an artivist, not an activist? You identify yourself as an artivist. Can you share your why and your passion?
Absolutely. So there's so much to say, but in this condensed version, as B has mentioned, I'm from Calexico, the Imperial Valley, which is a border town to Mexicali, Mexico. So keeping the landscape in mind, as well as growing up in a dominantly Latino, Catholic, conservative household, a lot of the times those values and traditions dictated my narrative on how I would navigate through the world as Chicana, as female, as, you know, mestiza. And so a lot of times, you know, growing up, the narrative was like, don't get pregnant, get good grades, do your chores. But that was very limiting to the story I needed to tell. And so when I dabbled into the power of storytelling, I knew that was a place of reclamation of self. And going into the realm of education, I was really excited to offer those skill sets to folks that were also caught between the borderlands of not just the literal, but as well as the abstract of the pulling forces of who we should be and labeled. And it's okay to submerge yourself in the hybridity of our stories and our values and our morals within those worlds. And so the artivism kicks in with just the excitement of sharing those skill sets and that knowledge and those epiphanies with others.
Wonderful. You know, you titled this workshop, Carla, Stories in the Blood. And I grew up with this saying, you know, mi papá siempre decía, hija, la sangre llama, as the same my mom, que en paz descanse mi papá. And when you wrote that, it really drew me in because, well, it was personal to me that some of the stories that you write in your book, the poems, they really remind me of where I came from. Can you tell us why you chose that title, Stories in the Blood?
Yeah, so when we're thinking about the stories we need to tell, a lot of times we run into the realm of writer's block and we're trying to reach for things outside of ourselves. When in reality, our blood is the richness of so many stories within our body. Meaning that our bodies are a representation of all the ancestors that came before us, that survived, that celebrated, that had families, hardships, traumas in the celebration of self. all sustained within our bodies. And there are so many stories for us to tap into that need to come into existence. And so when we think of blood, when we think of sangre, we think of DNA and unpacking the DNA, not according to how society views us in these limited versions of a language, but more unpacking the stories within ourselves and having conversations with our familia and our cultura and traditions of the things that are missing and that need to be told. And so when we think of blood, it gives us that kind of bridged opportunity to unpack more of that identity that we hold inside of ourselves.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wrote our bodies full of blood and bone are also stories. Adelante, Carla.
Wonderful, thank you, B. So those of you that are joining us, I'm super excited. I dropped a Google Doc link on the Zoom chat. We'll be working through, I'll be sharing my screen and we'll be working through a Google Doc to help guide us towards today's workshop. Give yourself maybe a minute or two if you want to get yourself something to write with, a pen, a paper, a notebook. If you want to write on your notes on your phone or on the side on your laptop on a Word document, that's okay too. So feel free to also open up the Google Doc if that's kind of a more accommodating, accessible space for you. And I will share my screen here real quick so we can get that rolling.
And then Carla, not to interrupt you, but I will drop the Google Doc. Oh, it just got dropped into our Facebook Live. So people on Facebook
Beautiful.
can join you. And we have people from Stockton, from Florida, from Uruguay. Everyone has been joining and we're writing back to them on Facebook. So I'm so excited these people are here to listen to you.
My folks beyond California, thank you all for joining us and happy writing today. So as B had mentioned, the workshop is called Stories in the Blood, a writing workshop. I will talk more about that. Again, my information's there below. At any time beyond this workshop, please know I am a forever resource to the stories you want to tell or collaboration. So know that my email, my website, and Instagram are on there. Please reach out at any time. I always love to offer some kind of form of encouragement for today's workshop. And our encouragement today is to remind yourself that the very act of writing and speaking and putting yourself into the world is the loudest protest our bodies can do. And so when we write our stories, we share pieces of ourselves into the world that have yet to be birthed into existence. And that is the ultimate practice of freedom. So as we move forward into our workshop, I invite you to write fearlessly, to share if when it's time to share, you have nothing to lose. Even the act of hearing, which is more important to listen, is also one of the most radical forms of freedom you can do. So I invite you to do that today as we move forward. What I want us to do first is called a free write. A lot of writers do free writes. This is the opportunity that allow us to tap into the child that hides within ourselves. Children are the most reckless, free, and liberated beings in the world. And it's not until we become domesticated, right, into young adults and aging adults that we lose that sense of freedom. So what I'm gonna do real quick is I'm gonna put about 5 minutes on the clock, okay? And all I want you to do in your notebook is literally free write. Write without consciously thinking about punctuation, spelling, cohesion. I just want you to write. Do not stop. I want the images on the screen to also inspire your lead in to the writing prompt. So you can maybe focus on one or the other image. These are pieces of art by a wonderful local artist named Juan Bis. So feel free to also check him out. I will start the timer now and I will write with you and I'll let you know when we have about a minute left. I'll put a little music in the background as well. So if you're not a big fan of music, that's okay. Just mute your screen and we'll do a check-in in 5 minutes. So please begin your free writes. See you in 5 minutes. Write whatever you want. Let the images inspire where you want to go. And I will see you in 5 minutes.
come to you, river. I will come to you, river. Come to you, river. Wash my soul. I will come to you, river. Wash my soul. I will come to you, river. Wash my soul again. Carry away my dead leaves. Let me baptize my soul with the help of your waters. Sink my veins and complaints. Let the river take them. River, drown them. My ego and my blame. Let me baptize my soul with the help of your waters. Those old means so ashamed. Let the river take them. River, drown them. Come to you, river. I will come to you, river. I will come to you, river. Come to you, river. Wash my soul. I will come to you, river. Wash my soul. I will come to you, river. Wash my soul again. Carry away my old leaves. Let me baptize my soul with the help of your waters. Sink my pains and complaints. Let the river take them. River, drown them. My ego and my blame. Let me baptize my soul with the help of your waters. Those old me's so ashamed. Let the river take them. River, drown them. To you, river. I will come to you, river. I will come to you, river. Come to you, river. Wash my soul. I will come to you, river. Wash my soul. I will come to you, river. Wash my soul again.
Okay, we're coming down to our last minute, so keep writing, don't stop. The key is not to stop. Keep writing, even if it's gibberish. You got a minute left. I believe in you.
I'm so sorry.
Okay, if you want to slowly make the return back, write your last line, last thought. Again, this does not have to be a final product of anything. This is us just kind of exercising language out of our bodies and whatever calls us to be written on the page. Again, whether it makes sense or not, that's okay. So just make that return back. Give yourself a minute to do the following. I want you to take your pen, your pencil, or maybe highlight on your computer your favorite line, a line that you thought, that's interesting, I can develop later, I love how it sounds, it makes me feel good. I might write about this more later, so give yourself a minute to do that now. And I'm gonna underline my own line here as well on my notebook. And put a little star next to it if you like. You can go back to it later. All right, so we'll keep scrolling. So our goal for today is the following. I want us through 2 different writing prompts that help us explore the celebrations and histories of self through the bloodline. Before we jump into blood, we have to start with the flesh and the bone. And so we're gonna go there first. Our first prompt for today is called Study of Hands. And so when we think of hands, we often forget that the hands are one of the most important things we own on our bodies as abled people, meaning our hands are the very things that give us access that show love, appreciation, that labor, that show hate, that know how to celebrate, that know how to gesture, different forms of communication. To my folks that speak ASL, right? Our hands are one of the most important things we own, each finger owning a very specific job on our bodies to live and participate in the world. And so when we think about hands, think about the stories that live inside of our hands. And the picture of the hands that I've just given you right now are hands that come from ancestors who picked fruit in the fields for many summers. These are hands who worked as an essential worker for over 40 years. These are hands that now suffer through arthritis and psoriasis. These are hands that have helped raise 4 daughters, continues to love his wife and all of his daughters. And these are my father's hands. And so these are the hands my father has cultivated and aged gracefully throughout the years. And so I just wanted to show you that hands can hold stories. And let us begin there, like I said, with flesh and bone. So for our first writing workshop, writing prompt, I want us to do the following. I want you to examine your hands. Give yourself about a minute or 2. And I really want you to look at your hands. I want you to think about the scars, the wrinkles, the hair, the skin color, the architecture, the fingernails, the nail polish, any kinds of things that adorn the hands up to the wrists. Palms, your fingernails. Y'all haven't got your nails done because of that pandemic, right? Or have and figured out how to do it on your own. I want you to look at the bones and the knuckles and the veins that come through, and what are those stories that are trying to be told. Once we give ourselves a minute to do that, I invite you then to write a response to your hands. You can call it study of hands. You can create your own title, but your objective is to use at least a minimum of 1 or as many as you want lead-in lines, meaning the lines you can start your piece with if you want to call it a short story or a poem or a free write. And the lead-in lines are the following. My hands have always been. When you see my hands, know that. These hands are made from, or my hands tell the story of blank, okay? If for some odd reason you have any questions or need me to repeat any of that, please again, jump into the chat, let me know, and one of our hosts can help us out and facilitate that. So I'm gonna have us write for maybe, let's say 10 minutes, okay? And I'll do a check-in in 10 minutes. So give yourself 10 minutes, study your hands. What stories do these hands hold when we think about flesh and bone, okay? Again, I'm gonna put a little music on, write for a bit. I'll do a check-in close to 9 minutes, and I'll be writing with you. So I'll see you in a few minutes.
Para los que, okay. Sorry, so I'm going to take a moment to just translate what you said, Carla.
Absolutely.
And also more shout outs. We have, I don't know if I said Florida earlier, Oceanside, we have San Diego, we have Mexico, the Ciudad de Mexico, so I think that's my tía, and possibly my abuelita. So hola abuelita, te quiero. Everyone go call your abuelita after this today. And we also have Atlanta Valley Center. So keep saying hi to us. I see you guys in the chat. And then ahorita estamos escribiendo sobre nuestras manos. Tenemos casi 8 minutos ahora, Carla. 8 minutes.
12.
Para examinar a tus manos y escribir.
skin every day. If I don't feel you, take me on, take me on, take me on, take me on.
I'll go ahead and keep translating a little bit more for those of you who speak only Spanish. So, como dijo Alina, están ahorita examinando sus manos. Miren a sus manos, a las cicatrices, a las líneas que tienen las manos, los vellos en las manos, el color de piel, la arquitectura, las uñas, si tienen las uñas pintadas. Miren cualquier tipo de adornos en las manos, un brazalete, sus fingerprints o las huellas que hay en las palmas de sus manos. Muévanlas alrededor. Miren a lo que sería la estructura de sus huesos, sus venas, y escriban la historia que existe de sus manos. Entonces pueden empezar, el documento dice que pueden empezar diciendo, mis manos han tenido siempre, o pueden decir, cuando veo mis manos, yo sé, o pueden decir, estas manos están hechas de, y sigan escribiendo ustedes, mis manos dicen una historia, y ustedes tienen que escribir esa historia. Escriban la historia de sus manos. Vamos a dar unos 5 minutos, más o menos, que ya vamos. Write the story of your hands. Escriban la historia de sus manos.
And then on our Facebook Live, I see that some of you are sharing lines that you have written, which is beautiful. And we do have some authors that are also joining us on Facebook Live. And then just a shout out to the historic La Colonia de Eden Gardens. Hi, Lisa. We're happy you're joining us today.
It's frustrating when you just can't express yourself, and it's hard to trust enough to undress yourself. Instead, exposed and naked in a world full of hatred, where the sick thoughts of mankind control all the sacred. I pause, take a step back, record all the setbacks, fast forward towards the stars and the jetpack. My feet might fail me, my heart might fail me. The synagogues of Satan might accuse or tell me I get something to say. Yesterday's gone, tomorrow's on the way. That name on that birth certificate, that in the real me, that in the real me, the lies can't conceal me. The sunrise and the moon ties and the sky is gonna reveal me. My brain pours water on my teardrop to heal me. I got something to say. Oh, yeah. Yesterday's gone, tomorrow's on the way. the message grab a hold to every ears that get whispered in. The waters and the bays of New Orleans still glistening. Yeah. The universe is listening. Be careful what you're saying it. My grandma told me every bed a nigga make, he laying it. I got something to say. Oh, yeah. Yesterday is gone, tomorrow's on the way. The church you go to pray in it. The work is on the outside. Staring out the windows, it's for love songs and house flies. I got something to say. Oh, yeah. Yesterday's gone, tomorrow's on the way. I got something to say. Oh, yeah. Yesterday's gone, tomorrow.
Okay, we're coming down to the last minute. Feel free to write your last line, last thought. Again, do not feel you need to have a completed piece. So just remind yourself that, but feel free to slowly come back to the screen as you're finishing off on the page. Okay, welcome back. So I hope y'all wrote some good stories, the good stories that live in the hands and the hands that want to speak. I'm gonna have us jump into our second writing prompt and then save some time at the end so we can have some of y'all jump on Zoom or Facebook Live and share maybe some of your favorite lines, or even jump on and unmute yourself and share pieces of what you've written, which is the most exciting part. So I'm gonna have us now jump into our second prompt for the day and give you a little more time to write. So now that we've kind of just dabbled with the hands as one version of exploring the flesh and the bone, let us now officially jump into the blood itself. And I'm gonna scroll through that. So the final writing prompt for today is inspired by a beautiful poet and friend. Her name is Mercedes Holtry. She's from Albuquerque, New Mexico. And she wrote a beautiful book called My Blood is Beautiful, which I highly recommend to purchase and support her work. But with that being said, within the collection, she wrote a beautiful poem literally called My Blood is Beautiful. And I put the link there to her performance. It has closed captions as well, and I highly recommend on your own time to click on it and watch it. It is a beautifully performed piece. But for the sake of time, what Mercedes talks about is how a lot of times in the world and society, because of fear and unknowing of our identities, society has created a lot of labels and language to kind of minimalize the existence of our identities and the intersection of self, and how really our identities are a multitude of existing things within the body, again, particularly the blood. And so when we think of, let's say, the census, when we're working on filling out different documents and forms, we're always subjected to choosing limited language that describes the self. And so one of the beautiful things that writing can accomplish is this reclamation, this re-scripting of history, this retelling of a narrative that pushes beyond, outside, again, pun intended, outside of the box, on the unpacking of self. And so when we think of blood, some fun facts I want you to just be mindful of is that our blood in our bodies is in the amount of 1.3 gallons. And in reality, that's only 7.87 to 8% of our overall weight. And there are 0.3 milligrams of actual gold. There is a wealth in our body. our blood's chemistry actually has and is proven elements of the mineral of gold. And so our body and our bloods are naturally bodies of movement of wealth. And that's the wealth of our stories as well. And so there's a phrase within science called epigenetics. And when we think about epigenetics, it is the unpacking of DNA and how DNA within the realm of epigenetics, there is a phrase called transgenerational inheritance. And that talks about how our bloods, our DNA can inherit the trauma and the celebrations and the hardship and the labor of our parents, of our ancestors. And we carry, right, those stories from generations into our blood. So we own those things in our blood. And so when we're thinking about, again, creating our own DNA in the stories that exist in the blood as our own as us as the architect, as us as the writers of that reclamation, I want us to do the following. I've provided a few lines from Mercedes' poem where she unpacks and retells the story of her blood and her version and truth of her blood. And so some of the lines go, my blood is the story of 9 million Americans who, like me, check the other box on the census. I come from the oppressed and the oppressor. I am indigenous Aztec women and Spanish conquistador. My ancestors were the ones mistaken for white gods and also the ones enslaved into patriarchy. I nod my head proudly as if to say, yeah, I'm a walking history lesson, proof that we all come from the same tree, but eventually outgrow our roots. So yes, I am a mix of things, but I am not an identity crisis. My blood belongs to me, and I'll be damned if anyone calls my blood anything but beautiful. And so we have Mercedes unpacking and rescripting her own blood, her own DNA. So what I want us to do next is if we look at some of the bolded parts of her poem, those are going to be the starting points for our own DNA construction of blood. Let me scroll down real quick. So very similar to the last prompt, I want you to have some launching phrases, or you can use as many phrases as you want. Your job now is to write a story, a poem, a free write about your own blood using some of the starting points. I come from, I am a mix of things, but create the list of what those mixes are. My blood belongs to me and then go off of that. And when we think about blood, you don't have to always necessarily think about like blood, the biology of the body. You can think of, I come from Christmas tamales de pollo. I come from a landscape that has no access to, etc. I come from my abuela's kitchen on Sunday mornings with a hot bowl of pozole, right? And so I want you to think outside of the box and what our blood is made of that honors and celebrates our own culturas, our own traditions. So we're gonna jump again for maybe about, let's go for about 8 minutes and then we'll do a check-in. So have fun. I'm gonna put music on again. I'm gonna write with you again. I'll see you in 8 minutes. And if anybody has requests for translations, we'll be sure to have Anna jump back on and translate the instructions over your way. All right, have fun writing. I'll see you in 8 minutes.
Carla, just a question from Rosa Maria Ortiz from Escondido, California. She asked, what was the last name of the author Mercedes?
So you can have access to the Google Doc so you can view the video and her name. Her last name is Poultry. I'll highlight it right here real quick and put it in yellow. Mercedes Poultry. Any other questions, let me know.
of the past at last. We sing and our tears dry, facing the clear sky, singing our tears dry. We sing and our tears dry, facing the clear sky, singing our tears dry. Transmission, lighting in the layers of the past at last. We sing and our tears dry, facing the clear sky, singing our tears dry. We sing and our tears dry, facing the clear sky, singing our tears dry.
Voy a tomar unos momentos para traducir la información que se acaba de decir. Estamos ahorita haciendo referencia a un poema llamado My Blood is Beautiful, Mi sangre es hermosa, por Mercedes Poultry. Este poema viene de un libro que se llama Becoming the Architects of Our Own DNA. So, nosotros somos los arquitectos de nuestro propio ADN. Si ven en el chat, hay un link un Word document que el que estamos siguiendo. Ahí pueden ver más información y más detalles sobre la información que se está cubriendo. Voy a leer lo que es esa parte del poema. Y el poema dice así: Mi sangre es la historia de 9 millones de americanos como yo. Pues en estas líneas, cuando viene lo que es el censo, por ejemplo, si la sangre viene de todo este grupo de personas que son como yo, entonces, pues no soy parte de ninguna raza. Somos la creación de muchas razas. Entonces pueden checar en la cajita que dice otro para lo del censo, other. Yo vengo I come from the oppressed and the oppressor. Vengo del oprimido y del opresor. Y de lo que sí se traduce. I am indigenous Aztec women and Spanish conquistador. Soy una mujer de raíces indígenas aztecas y conquistador español. No, someone had a question? I heard someone had a question. Okay. Mis ancestors were the ones mistaken for white gods and also the ones enslaved into patriarchy. Mis ancestros fueron quienes fueron erróneamente confundidos con los dioses blancos, por los dioses blancos, y también fueron esclavizados. Yo inclino mi cabeza orgullosamente para decir, yes, I'm a walking history lesson. Sí, soy una historia que camina, porque mi historia ya es parte, mi vida es parte de la historia. Prove that we all come from the same tree, but eventually outgrow our roots. Yo soy la prueba de que venimos de la misma raíz del árbol, pero esta raíz crece sus propias raíces. So yes, I am a mix of things, but I'm not an entity crisis. Soy una mezcla de muchas cosas, pero no soy una crisis de identidad. My blood belongs to me. Mi sangre me pertenece. And I'll be damned if anyone calls my blood anything but beautiful. Y me molestaría si cualquier persona dijera que mi sangre es cualquier otra cosa pero que no dijera que fuera hermosa. So you can start writing something about your blood and your history, and you can start by saying, I come from, yo vengo de, or I am, yo soy, I am a mix of things. Soy una mezcla de muchas cosas. My blood belongs to me. Mi sangre me pertenece. And then you just keep writing. Escriban, sigan escribiendo. Did we run out of time already?
We are coming down to the last 2 minutes.
And then Carla, we have some beautiful ones in the Facebook Live that I'm hoping we might get a chance to share once we wrap up.
Absolutely. So once we hit the 2-minute marker, we'll do a check-in, and I would love to hear from folks over on Facebook and hear what they're writing.
And then I just wanted to tell you, Carla, that this reminds me, like this poem's so beautiful, the way that this comes out. It reminds me of the Chicano famous poem, Yo Soy Joaquin by Corky. So it's just beautiful to make that connections. And then for those of you who are unaware of that poem, I highly recommend looking it up. It's one that I've used in the past with my students in high school. And I think it's really important, especially to show at a young age to our youth so that they can help create their identity from a young start. So I think putting these side by side would be really great for students that are watching, for teachers that are watching, and even just for parents.
Maybe you can type that in the chat on Zoom so folks that are zooming in can kind of copy paste that and save that for another read, which would be great. Thank you for sharing that. I love that poem so much. All right, so if you want to slowly start making the return back, last line, last thought. Again, doesn't have to be a completed piece. And the beauty of the writing prompts is that you have the writing prompts and you can develop and write more to it later when you're called to do so. So again, I'll give you maybe about 30 more seconds. Maybe start looking at your favorite lines, start circling your favorite lines, start moving things around as we come back.
Y compártanlos en el chat. Empiecen a compartirlos para que podamos leer lo que escribieron ustedes sobre la información. You can share on the chat, everyone. You're writing.
Okay, so I think everyone's kind of finishing up their writings. So as mentioned, welcome back. And again, thank you for diving into 2 writing prompts. Again, the exploration of bone, flesh, and blood, and the stories that live within our bodies, and the stories that need to be told because nobody else will tell it like you will. Nobody will document our stories like we will, right? So I want to maybe give a few minutes to folks who maybe want to jump on Zoom and unmute themselves and maybe read pieces of a prompt that they were drawn to. Or we can even read some lines from Facebook Live just so we could hear what people are making. So I'll open that space now to whoever wants to jump in.
So I think Anna and I can take an opportunity to look. Oh, sorry, Bernice. Go ahead and share, and then I'll jump in.
Okay, sorry. So I'm gonna do the freedom free write, the first free write that we did. So here it goes. My brother and myself, created by 2 beings, we act like polar opposites, but we are the same. I may be moon and he may be the sun. We both provide love and we may be different. El elote, we are el elote, so nutritious with its maíz y sus hojas que se visten el elote. Corn, yellow and white, and when it dries, it is so satisfying to take off the cob. Have you ever seen a blue and purple maize? I have. And a blue or purple tortilla, delicious. The spine in the corn is what makes us humanitarians.
Mm-hmm.
And that's mine.
Okay, yay! I just wanted to make sure you were done. Yay! Thank you so much for sharing. I love the connection of the elote to the self, and how the elote transforms, and the elote is nourishment in different ways. And I love the question of like, have you ever seen an elote? Have you ever seen a blue tortilla? Like, I love that. So thank you for making the connections to elote and self, and it being a symbol of nourishment and love. I loved it so much. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah. Anybody else out there?
I am going to go ahead and read Lisa Montes that she put on our Facebook Live. It is beautiful. Lisa, you are amazing with your words. So she wrote, I am the spirit of the church bell in my colonia, ringing proudly on a Sunday morning for all to hear.
I love it. That's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing.
Awesome. Also, just a shout out to Honduras via Escondido, but hi, Mrs. Hui, Ana Hui. Thank you for joining us.
Any other writing responses that folks wanted to share on Zoom or a couple on Facebook?
En el chat de Zoom hay algunos.
Okay.
Voy a leer el de español. I'm going to read the one in the chat in Spanish. Mis manos, Susana Hillera Martínez fue la que la escribió. Mis manos están hechas de sueños, algunos cumplidos, otros rotos. Anhelos que se aprietan y se sueltan, como resoluciones del destino. Mis manos, hechas de coraje y pasión, sujetan mi cansancio y a la vez mi privilegio. Manos cuyas manchas me recuerdan a mi padre. Tatuajes que el sol decidió por mí y aquella tinta que marca mi muñeca, uniendo el amor de madre e hija, único amor, que no sabe de dar, que no sabe de muerte, que no sabe desaparecer, como las manchas de mis manos y mi piel. Mis manos están hechas de sueños, pasados, presentes y futuros.
Yes, yes, yes. That was beautiful. I love it. I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. But thank you so much for sharing that. Híjole, man. This is great. This is absolutely beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I love the return too of mis manos están hechas de sueños. I love that it presents itself in the beginning and then closes at the end as like the present, past, and future of the hands, right? Forever in development, but always in recognition of the past and where they come from. Beautiful. Thank you. Anybody else? I think we're good on time. If anybody had a few more responses they wanted to share.
I have one more.
Yes,
and it's
please.
the blood one.
Awesome.
Okay. I come from Oceanside, California, from a nearby barrio named Carlsbad. I am American, but I am also Chicana, Latina X, Mexican, American, and American Native.
Mm-hmm.
I am a mix of North and South Mexico. I am a mix of my family.
Done? Yay, thank you so much. And I love that we're starting with geography and location as like the markers for exploration of self, right? Then you launch in, get into the landscape, and what are the smaller elements of self that you want to honor. But I love that we're starting there. Thank you so much for sharing.
You're welcome.
Awesome. All right, mi gente, anything else? Any other final thoughts before I hand it over to B? I believe we end at 12, correct, B? Just want to honor the time.
Yeah, and I think we have a little more time. When you wrap up with your workshop, I'd like for you to read one of your poems. Do you have your book handy?
No, I don't. But I could see if I could run and get it. If not, maybe we can talk, or I think I have a copy somewhere.
Tell us about your book, you know, and what do you tell that person who wants to write and feels like I'm not a good writer or I'm not very creative? Like, what words of encouragement do you give them I know you've given us a lot of tools and a lot of inspiration, but there are some that might still have like held the pen to the paper and nothing came out, you know, because when we read all the words and all these beautiful books and we hear all the stories, we think we can never aspire to be that. Like we want to aspire to be like that, but we can never be that. Like, what do you tell that writer who's ready to put pen to paper?
Yeah. Did you want me to address that now? I just wanted to.
When you're done with your workshop, if your workshop is done, or yeah.
Yeah, thank you, V. I'll do a final check-in if there's anybody on Facebook Live or anybody on Zoom that wanted to share anything else before we close up, and then we go over with V on questions. Anybody else that wanted to share a piece or that any of our hosts can read out loud for you, please let us know on the chat or on Facebook Live, and we could do that for you.
There's one more story from Susana Hilera Martinez. Well, two more, but in the chat on Zoom. Do we have time for that? Or is there anyone else in the chat on Facebook?
There's no one else in the chat on Facebook, but I just want to personally say that I think all of these that have been shared are so beautiful. I'm over here snapping and thinking they're amazing, because the only thing I could come up with after you said tamales de pollo, Carla, was thinking, and my abuelita is watching, so abuelita, pon atención. The only thing I could come up with is like, yo soy de las albóndigas de mi abuelita, because I'm a little chubby. I'm a little gordita, and I'm from a lot of those albóndigas. So like, that's, I mean, everyone else had beautiful things, but that's the first thing that came to my mind.
Love it.
Oh,
and we are, right? And we are from our grandmothers, you know, from our abuelas cooking. There's so much life there. And we consume the food she feeds us, right? All of our abuelas. And so again, that is just as important and just as valid of our bloodlines and the stories that exist. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you. That was beautiful. Thank you so much, Carla. You have just rekindled our love for our own identities and our own culture and our own biologies and our blood. You know, who would have thought that there was so much creativity in the blood and the bone? You know? So thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, we have a few minutes, and I really would like for you to speak to that person who needs to maybe unpack things that are happening, you know, in our nation right now through writing, or who aspires, you know, to be a writer or a journalist, and like I said, and they're struggling and just putting that, you know, their ideas to paper.
Right. I mean, if we are starting off from the political and social landscape of where our world is right now, right, is our role as writers and aspiring writers. And if you're here, you're a writer, that's it, punto, like nothing else. You don't got to do anything else to be there. You're here, you're showing up, right? Is finding a place of community that is going to uplift you, that is going to be your cheerleader and your coach. And so having community is one of the most essential things as a writer, because those are the people that are going to build you up and see your work. Especially now during COVID, right? A lot of space has become smaller. So as writers, we can figure out how to make small spaces bigger, right? And we can do that in our writing. And so sometimes it might just take writing a poem about maybe the pan dulce and the concha on the table and how we're going to engage with the concha, or thinking about who made the concha, or thinking about all the ingredients that went into the pan dulce. And we have now made space bigger, right? And so for my aspiring writers, I think step one is just write fearlessly, write freely, read everything you can, everything that is beyond yourself. And that's going to be like your own, I'm gonna go back to the word like nourishment for guiding you and mentoring you into your writing. And yeah, the first step is just write and don't be hesitant. My second thing is don't try to sound like anybody else. Let pieces of work that inspire you be mentors into your own voice, but never attempt to sound like someone you are not, because then you are doing an injustice to the voice that wants to complement the story that wants to be told.
Oh,
So
that was
remember that.
beautiful.
Yeah. So
Yes.
get your community, get your mentors, be yourself, and write from the small things to make space bigger. Yeah.
That was beautiful. And the last thing is, you said build community. I know that you have a space downtown Oceanside. Can you share with the audience that are local or maybe passing by how they can stop by and visit, or are you doing things virtually?
Absolutely. So I run a nonprofit called Glassless Minds. It is located in Oceanside. We partner up with an art space called Link Soul. What we do there is we facilitate an art space for our historically and marginalized underserved youth, meaning we have open mics where folks can come share their music, their art, poetry, stories. We have artists and vendors come promote and create art during that same time of space. Because again of the social and political climate, we are moving things virtually. So you can find us on Facebook or Instagram, Glassless Minds, and you will see flyers and Zoom links to our next virtual open mic. Also know that the art space itself is doing art venue visits. So you can make an appointment online and still visit the art if you need to be in a space of art. And you can make appointments and visit, and social distancing and everything is very well executed. So another place I recommend if you need access to that.
Wow, thank you so much, Carla. Que Dios te bendiga. Continue the great work. And Alina, I hand it over to you.
Thank you so much. So I am going to come back, and again, just showing we have Carla's website right here, where I'm pretty sure we can get your book, Carla, if anyone was very interested in knowing more about your writing and your voice. So I'll leave this up here for just a second. And we are going to just talk about one of our sponsors. So we want to say thank you to all of our partners that have helped make this virtual event possible. We want to do a special shout out to our sponsor AARP for supporting this event. AARP's mission is to enhance the quality of life for all as we age, leading positive social change and delivering value to members throughout advocacy, service, and information. The principles of collective purpose, collective voice, and collective purchasing power guide our efforts. So again, thank you to AARP for being one of our sponsors for this event. And do believe I'm going to pass this quickly to Ana just to talk about a little bit of San Diego County Library and their walk-up doorside service.
All right, let's. So starting August 24, San Diego County Library is offering a walk-up doorside service at all branches. So no appointment needed. Branches are accepting return materials, and due dates for returning your materials is until December 31st, so the end of the year. And you can visit their website to check more information. A partir del 24 de agosto del 2020, de este año, la Biblioteca del Condado de San Diego ofrece servicios sin previa cita para recoger en la puerta, a la puerta de cualquiera de sus bibliotecas. Las sucursales o bibliotecas aceptan devolución de los materiales hasta el final de este año, diciembre 31. Ahí en su pantalla puede ver el sitio de internet sdcl.org, sdcl.org. Okay, next slide. There you go, Alina. Well, actually, we have a magic show coming up.
Yes, so those of you who are with us still on Facebook Live and on the Zoom, make sure you just keep staying with us. I see people are still sharing, more people are coming. So we have Zany Zoe, a magic show that is bilingual.
Okay. Podrías Lina, ¿podrías hacerme co-host?
Oh, I apologize.
Click on the three little dots next to my name.
It's not doing anything on it.
All right.
So this is our first year doing this virtually. So we did have some, what do we say? Some little kinks that we need to work out still.
There you go. The magic show's coming up.
Yes. Okay.
Hi everyone, hola. My name is Zany Zoe. Yo me llamo Zany Zoe. Are you guys ready to have fun? ¿Están listos? So cuando aprenden algo, when you learn something, where do you go? ¿A dónde van? Your library, una biblioteca, your parents, tus padres, school, la escuela. So today we're going to learn, hoy vamos a aprender from my friend, mi amiga, Siri. Hey Siri, teach me a magic trick.
Did you say, teach me a magic trick? Dijiste, enséñame un truco de magia.
Yes, sí.
Why not? ¿Por qué no? Okay. I'll need you to set me down. Necesito que me pongas en la mesa.
Okay.
I call it the vanishing bandana. Yo lo llamo la bandana que se desaparece. You will need a square of fabric. Vas a necesitar una tela cuadrada.
I got it. Aquí lo tengo.
Next, take out a yellow bandana. Lo siguiente, saca una bandana amarilla. Take the bandana, fold it in half. Agarra la bandana, doblala en mitad.
Did you hear me jump? A little bit.
Good. Now, fold it one more time. Bueno, ahora, doblala una vez más.
Okay, something happened.
Hi everyone, hola. My name is Zany Zoe. Yo me llamo Zany Zoe.
Ana, did we
Yeah, something happened there.
La bandana que se desaparece. You will need a square of fabric. Vas a necesitar una tela cuadrada.
I got it. Aquí lo tengo.
Next, take out a yellow bandana. Lo siguiente, saca una bandana amarilla. Take the bandana, fold it in half. Agarra la bandana, doblala en mitad. Good. Now, Fold it one more time. Bueno, ahora, doblala una vez más. Now, roll it up into a little ball and hide it in your hand. Ahora, enrollala a una bola y escondela en tu mano. So the audience cannot see it. Para que la audiencia no lo mire. Try keeping your hand looking as natural as possible. Trata de mantener tus manos lo más natural posible. This is called palming. Esto se llama palmeando. Now, unfold the bandana. Ahora, desplegar la bandana. If there is disbelief that the bandana is real, si no creen que la bandana es real, allow an audience member to wrap it around their head. Dejen que una de la audiencia se la envuelva en su cabeza. Now, pick up the square of fabric. Ahora, recoge la tela cuadrada. Gather all the corners together, creating a little bag. Reúne todos los rincones juntos creando una bolsa. Using your free hand, grab the bandana and fold it along the creases you made earlier. Usando tu mano libre, agarra la bandana y doblala otra vez. Drop it into the folds of the little bag. Déjalo caer en los pliegues de la bolsita. Now, from the outside of the bag, squeeze. Ahora, de afuera de la bolsa, exprimir. What the audience does not know is that you never actually dropped the bandana into the bag. Lo que la audiencia no sabe es que nunca dejaste caer la bandana adentro de la bolsa. You kept it hidden in your hand. Lo escondiste en tu mano. Remember, palming? ¿Recuerdas palmeando?
No.
Don't forget to keep that hand held in a natural position. No olvides mantener tu mano en una posición natural. Make some sort of magical gesture. Hace algún tipo de gesto mágico. For the ending to this trick, fling open the bag and receive a thunderous round of applause. Para el final de este truco, abre la bolsa y recibe los aplausos enormes.
Yay! We did it! Red. Rojo. Yellow. Amarillo. Yay! I have an amazing friend named Dottie. Yo tengo una increíble amiga que se llama Dottie. She knows how to disappear. Ella se sabe desaparecerse. You want to meet her? ¿La quieren conocer? Come on, Dottie. Ven, Dottie. Say hi, Dottie. Di hola, Dottie. Hi, Dottie. Hola, Dottie. No, no, no. Look at all those kids over there. Mira todos esos niños. Say hi to the kids. Di hola a los niños. Hi, kids. Hola, niños. Good. Bueno. So, ella sabe desaparecerse. She knows how to disappear. So she's been practicing for so many hours and days. Ha estado practicando con muchos días y horas. Let's start it, okay? So when I count to 3, cuando cuente a 3, you guys are going to say the magic word, la palabra mágica, que es Zany Zoe, okay? Van a decir Zany Zoe. Ready? 1, 2, 3, Zany Zoe! And she disappears. ¿Se desapareció? ¿No? Dottie, te tienes que desaparecerte. You have to disappear. They're not going to believe us. No los van a creer. Okay, otra vez. Again. 1, 2, 3. And she disappears. Y se desaparece. No? She doesn't disappear. ¿No se desapareció? Dottie, what happened again? What's going on? ¿Qué está pasando? Okay, again. 1, 2, 3. Zany Zoe. Una vez más. 1, 2, 3. Zany Zoe. Y se desaparece. And she disappears. Still? Oh, no. That's one of her friends. Actually, when her friends show up, she doesn't disappear because she's so shy. So I told you guys to stay home. Oh my goodness. You have to stay home. I'm going to put you away. No more friends. Okay, una vez más. 1, 2, 3. And she disappears. She doesn't. Another friend. Oh my goodness. Otra amiga. I'm going to put her in my pocket. La voy a poner en mi bolsita. Woo! She's tickling me. Me está dando cosquillas. Okay, again. Let's do it again. Otra vez. 1, 2, 3. Zany Zoe. And she disappears. Oh my goodness, she disappeared. Se desapareció. Yay! Round of applause. Un aplauso para Dottie. Dottie. I miss Dottie. Oh, where is she? Oh my goodness. Have you guys seen her? Dottie. Huh? In front of my nose? Where? Oh my. Dottie, you're tricky. Muchos trucos hace. You know what? I'm going to disappear her a different way. My way. Ready, Daddy? 1, 2, 3. Grab her here. Respira. Soplo. Blow. How did Dottie learn how to disappear? ¿Cómo aprendió Dottie a desaparecerse? By Mama Dottie, por Mama Dottie. Do you want to meet Mama Dottie? ¿Quieren conocer a Mama Dottie? Come on, Mama Dottie, ven, Mama Dottie. Say hi, Mama Dottie. She said hi, dijo hola. So we're going to show them what you could do, your special talent. Vamos a enseñarse lo que va a ser su talento especial. Oh, she wants me to introduce her friends. Quiere que introduzca las amigas. Come on, friends. Ven, amigas. This is Maria. Esta es Maria. This is Dolores. Esta es Dolores. Okay, so she wants me to tell you guys that we're going to follow the color combination. We're going to put first Maria, then Dolores, then Mama Dottie. Vamos a poner primero María, y después Dolores, y después Mama Dottie. In goes Maria, in goes Dolores, and in goes Mama Dottie. Adentro va María, después fue Dolores, y después Mama Dottie. So Mama Dottie is going to go from here, the top, to the bottom. Mama Dottie va a ir de arriba para abajo, okay? But you guys have to help me out. Say the magic word so it could happen, okay? But you guys have to believe. Tienen que decir la palabra mágica, pero tienen que creer, okay? In the count of 3, cuando cuenta 3, van a decir Zany Zoe. 1, 2, 3. Zany Zoe. And she does it. ¿Lo hizo? Oh, no lo hizo. She didn't do it. What happened, Mama Dottie? Oh, she said that one of you guys forgot to say the magic word. Se les olvidó decir la palabra mágica a unos de ustedes. Everybody has to say it or else it won't happen. Todos lo tienen que decir la palabra mágica o si no, no va a pasar. Hay que hacerlo otra vez. Let's do it one more time. In goes Maria, adentro va María. In goes Dolores, adentro va Dolores. In goes Mama Dottie. One more time, una vez más. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Zany Zoe. ¿Lo hizo? Did she do it? Oh no, what happened? Mama Dottie, what happened this time? Otra vez más, una vez más. This time we'll do it different. We'll use her transporting box. Let's see if she does it like that. Okay? In goes Maria. In goes Dolores. And, esta vez lo hago diferente. This time I'll do it different. I'm going to put her in the transporting box. La voy a poner en la bolsita que se transporta. In the count of 3, Zany Zoe, okay? 1, 2, 3. Zany Zoe. Did it happen? Oh my goodness. Oh, it did it. She did it. Oh my goodness. Lo hizo. I thought it didn't work. Yo creía que no trabajó. Oh, wait. Que no la puse en la cajita? Didn't I put her in the box? What? Wow! How did you do that, Mama Dottie? ¿Cómo hiciste eso, Mama Dottie? Wow! Great job! Buen trabajo! Who loves coins? ¿Quién le gusta monedas? I do. A mí me encantan. These are special traveling coins. Estas son monedas que viajan. One at a time, una por una. It's going to go up my arm, arriba de mi brazo, cruzando mi nuca, crossing my neck, down my arm, bajando mi brazo, y en la mesa va a caer, okay? One by one, we're going to do that. So first, we're going to put 4 coins here. Vamos a poner 4 monedas aquí. Let's do this. Vámonos. I have another friend named Alexander. Tengo otro amigo que se llama Alexander y sabe imitar. He knows how to imitate. Do you want to see? ¿Quieres ver? He knows how to imitate a hat. Sabe imitar un gorro. Ooh, fancy. He knows how to imitate earrings. Sabe cómo imitar argollas. Ooh. He knows how to imitate a mustache. Sabe cómo imitar una bigote. Hello, mate. ¿Cómo estás? He knows how to imitate Frida Kahlo. Sabe cómo imitar a Frida Kahlo, la artista, the artist. Hello. So, we're going to see what else he knows how to imitate. Vamos a ver qué más sabe cómo imitar. A snake. Ooh, una culebra. And he knows how to get stiff. Sabe ponerse derecho. Ready? Ooh. Nice. Bueno. Let's see. Let's use this bag, my magic bag. Hay que usar esta bolsa mágica, a ver lo que pasa. In goes Alexander. Bye, Alexander. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, Zane y Zoe. ¿Qué es esto? What is this? Oh my goodness. Oh, what happened? It's Alex. No, it's Alex. I can't do a hat. No puedo hacer un gorro. I can't do earrings. One earring, una joya. This doesn't look like a mustache. Esto no se mira como un bigote. Ay, Frida. I have an idea. Tengo una idea. How about if I put it in here? ¿Y si lo pongo aquí a ver qué pasa? What is this? ¿Qué es esto? That's where it went. Allí es donde se fue. Oh my goodness. Híjole. What do I do with this? ¿Qué hago con esto? This is not a hat. Este no es un gorro. No. ¿Cómo es posible? Tengo otra idea. How about if he turns back into Alexander? Maybe voy a hacer otra vez que se haga Alexander. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yay! Alexander's back. Alejandro, ya viniste para atrás. Woohoo! ¿Qué más puede hacer? What else could he do? Oh, you remember? Una culebra, ¿se acuerdan? Hay que a ver qué hace esto. Let's see what this does. First, I'm going to show you the inside. Primero les voy a enseñar lo de adentro. It's heavy, está pesado. Voy a poner adentro Alexander. Bye, Alexandro. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, Zany, Zoe. Turn it around. 1, 2, 2, 3. I don't know what it is. No sé qué está adentro. Oh my goodness. ¿Quieren ver lo que está adentro? Do you guys want to see? Oh, it's just Adonis. Solo es Adonis. Oh, come here. Ven para acá. Oh, how cute. Oh, hi, Adonis. Esta es mi culebra, Adonis. This is my snake, Adonis. He is teenager. Esa como, tiene como 15 años. Do you see his tongue that goes like this? Then la lengua que hace. That's how he smells. Actually, yeah, that's how he smells. Así es como huele. Ven los do you see? Está pesada, it's heavy. Do you see his nostrils? That's how he breathes. Ven los hoyitos enfrente de la nariz? Así es como respira. Y do you see the scales? He feels sound vibrations. Las cositas aquí que tiene se menean cuando hay sonido que pasa. And when there's a snake that's a male or a female, cuando hay una culebra que es femenina o masculina, you could tell when it's stubby tail is a female, pointy tail is a male. Cuando es una mujer, es una más redondita culebra, híjoles. Y cuando es un masculino, la cola es más puntuda. Say bye, Adonis. Woo! Be bye, Adonis. Give me a kiss. Dame un beso. Mwah. So my favorite cartoon is Beauty and the Beast. Uno de mis favoritos caricaturas es Beauty and the Beast. En esa película, in that movie, there's talking clocks, walking tables, hay mesas que caminan, que hablan. So this right here is my friend Marcela. Aquí tengo mi amiga Marcela y ella baila. She dances. Let's do this, Marcela. Let's dance. Hay que bailar. Come on, Marcela. A ver. Hacen tango. A ver, tango arriba, tango up. ¡Oh! ¡Fancy! ¡Híjole! Wow! How about rumba? Abajo. Woo! Great job! Woohoo! How about swing? Ooh, I love this one. Woo, woo. Woo. Yeah. Zumba. ¿A dónde está la Zumba? I hear it. Woo! Yeah. Woo! Vamos, Marcela. Woo! Woo! Buen trabajo, Marcela. Great job, Marcela. When I was a little girl, cuando estaba pequeña, my mom took me to Big Bear. Mi mamá me llevó a Big Bear. Y cuando llegué allí, when I got there, it was so cold. Estaba tan frío. And then some snow started coming down my face. I just didn't know what it was at the time. So my mom told me, it's snow, honey. Me dijo mi mamá que lo que estaba cayendo era nieve. Cuando sentí eso, when I felt that, it was so magical to me. The most magical thing I've ever seen. Cuando vi eso, era la más cosa tan mágica que vi. Y quiero que ustedes lo experiencien. I want you to experience it. To make snow, para hacer nieve, you need water. Necesitas agua. Then you need paper. Necesitas papel. Snow, snow, nieve, nieve. Not good enough. No es tan bueno, ¿verdad? Water, agua. I wring it, lo exprimo. Le aviento aire. I blow. 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 Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Zany Zoe, for that wonderful magic show. Just to let you guys know that there are a few different ways to keep up with us, as we will be continuing these workshops for a few more weeks, correct, Anna? So you can find us at www.lbff.us, where you will see this cool countdown for our next workshop, which will be next Saturday at 11. But you can also follow us on Facebook at LBFFS. So keeping these, you can see us on Facebook Live. There you can share us with your friends. I can see who's joining us, and I can give shout outs like Susana and Maylin. Thank you for staying with us. So these are two ways that you are able to find us and stay up to date with the events for the Latino Book and Family Festival. This is our featured author for this week. Oop. Sorry, you guys, clicking too fast.
At this point, we would like to take a moment to feature a book, Posadas and Non-Calaveras by Gloria Arjona. Posadas and Non-Calaveras delves into the literary calaveras of Mexican artist Jose Guadalupe Posada, famous for his Day of the Dead skeletons, but seldom recognized as a poet. This book recovers a barely explored set of 100 satirical rhymes accompanied by relevant images Posada created in woodcut during the dictatorship of Porfirio Diaz. Greedy businessmen, corrupted politicians, unscrupulous traders and priests are taken all by La Muerte Justiciera, the fairly minded dead. Dr. Gloria Arjona is an educator, performer, and independent researcher with residence in Long Beach, California.
Wow. Awesome. So go ahead and you can take down this name, Posadas and Non-Calaveras by Gloria Arjona. And she is one of our award-winning authors, correct, Anna, for this year or from the past? Yes. So then just a preview for next week, August 29th, at 11 a.m., we are going to have a special panel of teachers, and they'll be answering questions such as, how do you support your child? So this will be very educational for those, especially as we're going back in a time of COVID-19. So one of our teachers you can see featured here is Profe Allen from Valley Center Middle School. And we have about 5 teachers on that panel, so don't miss out. We will be having them answer questions. And of course, you can ask questions via the Zoom and on our Facebook Live. And then we'll have another comedic magician, which is Artie Loon, who you can see here too. So don't miss out for next week at 11 a.m. Espero que les haya gustado el programa de hoy y traerle una sonrisa a usted y sus familias. Para la próxima semana tendremos una magnífica conversación para padres de familia y cómo ayudar a sus hijos en el tiempo de pandemia con unos maestros y también otro magician, Artie Loon. So thank you again to our sponsors, and thank you to those who have stayed with us throughout this program. I do believe we ran a little over today than expected, but thank you for staying with us, and we hope to see you again next week.
You can play the video at the end. Bye. Bye everyone, thank you.